This is the last chapter of the book Marine Insurance IC 67, prepared by Institute of Insurance, Indian Institute of Insurance, and this is for the examination of associateship, etc. They have just touched upon the topics like loss prevention, reinsurance, and maritime frauds. These three subjects are very vast, basically. There is a books on reinsurance, there is an entire topic on reinsurance, but it is touched upon whenever you are looking at a marine insurance. The marine insurance claims, recovery, uh, and end of the day, it is a reinsurance is also a part of marine insurance. Maritime frauds. So a person from the marine cargo department should know about the different types of maritime frauds and also loss prevention techniques. Because maritime fraud starts from the underwriting first thing, that you are looking for the singleton vessel, the age of vessel, the ownership profile of the vessel, classification, then the financial capacity of the vessel owner, the charterer. So these are all the things, which is the uh, things which we are combating with the fraud. Then the loss prevention, loss ratio is more. So why losses are there? You see, many times the psychology and philosophy of the management is such. In one of the company, they were manufacturing picture tube neck in Rajasthan, and one of the private insurance company appointed me for loss prevention because there were many losses. And then in the process of study, I realized that they are using these cartons again and again, maybe 6 times, 7 times. And in the process of discussion, I was trying to tell them that this is having a fixed life. Over a period of time, corrugated cartons are, the strength is reduced because of, say, humidity and usage, etc. The burst strength is reduced considerably. It will come down to 40%, 30% over a period of time. So they are not designed for using it again and again because it will not give the requisite strength. I was told by the party that they gave me, excellent, in a way, cooperation. They have shown me everything. But the final briefing, they said, whatever you suggest, we are not going to accept it. Because we have cut down the cost on every aspect. On packaging, now we cannot incur any expenses. The best way is to change insurance company. You see, this is the philosophy. So loss prevention, when the premium is coming less and less, the claim ratio is increased in considerable in proportion. So you have to be very careful about the management philosophy, the broker's philosophy. That is very, very important. So what we are going to see, the various ways how the cargo loss can be prevented or controlled. What are the precautions we can take? It's not very great this thing, but you take little care about the loading, unloading, stowage, lashing, the desiccants provided in the container, etc. The losses can be arrested. Then there are various risks which is to be reinsured. The reinsurance is a part of insurance. Of course, as a the consignee or consigner, you may not have much concern. But there are many consignees or consigners. They also look for the reinsurance and give support to the insurance companies. And then the third is maritime fraud. You should know different type of maritime fraud. Maritime fraud can be combated. If you take certain precautions, the maritime frauds can be arrested. But then you see, you try to understand, whenever there is a greed, there is a fraud. Somebody is offering something at a very cheaper rate than the international market rate, there is a possibility of fraud. There is something which is offered in non-standard way, there is a possibility of fraud. So all these things to be understood by the participants, students, underwriters, and adjusters. Cargo loss control and prevention. One, you are trying to minimize it, and then you are trying to prevent it. So this is a systematic approach to reduce loss or damage to property with the purpose of minimizing losses. The premium is coming down, so loss ratio also should be under control. And the loss is often compensated by insurance. A reduction in overall level of loss leads to less waste for the entire community. The impossible to eliminate loss entirely because of damages inherent in cargo transportation. Maritime perils must be risk of fire, flood are always present. You see, you cannot 100% eliminate. But if you take the proper precaution right from selection, right from good packaging, right from good stuffing, good dunnaging, proper lashing, the selection of transport, no overloading of transport, there are certain, there is a proper control uh, when it is going, a very costly cargo is going. So the smart locks, maybe escorting or maybe taking police support, all these things, once you take care, you can always try to minimize the loss. Accident sometimes cannot be avoided, but rollover can be avoided if you are selecting a proper vehicle, and then the center of gravity of the consignment is checked, and then the static rollover threshold and dynamic rollover threshold of the vehicle is calculated, the things can be minimized. There are losses if you are selecting a for a break bulk consignment. If you are selecting a dry bulk vessel which is without any twin deck or between deck, because of superimposed weight, you cannot avoid the damages. What is happening in the project cargo? Project cargo is getting damaged because twin deckers are not available, and then the dry bulk vessel is selected for carriage of these packages. It is also stuffed along with a different type of cargo or different type of projects or other break bulk cargo, a mixed towage, superimposed load, no proper dunnaging, no proper lashing. There is every possibility if it is a dry bulk vessel, the master of the vessel may not be having cargo securing plans, cargo securing manuals. Then he may not be having, the vessel may not be having experience. The chief officer and they may be knowing good about the bulk cargo. They may be knowing about the spontaneous combustion. They may be knowing about the liquefaction of the vessel, and then they may be knowing about the minimizing the losses attributable to spontaneous combustion, liquefaction, etc. But they may not be equipped to combat with such type of lashing, dunnaging, etc. So these are all things. Of course, they are depending on stevedore. But I have seen many losses when the consignment of break bulk is coming by dry bulk vessel. The chances of losses to the bottom stack is unavoidable. So there has to be a systematic approach to reduce loss or damage to property with the purpose of minimizing losses. And the loss is often compensated by insurance company. A reduction in overall loss leads to a less waste for the entire community. As I said, yes, it is not possible to eliminate at 100% confidence level, but the losses can be minimized. The precautions for theft, pilferage, and non-delivery. This is new and well constituted packaging, shrink wrapping, strapping, and banding. So these are things which is really, trying to avoid the physical damages because of good packaging. So packaging attributed damages can be minimized. Uses of coding, code should be changed frequently. Clear and incomplete delivery and handling instruction should be three sides of the packaging. Many times I have seen, for example, a consignment of 200 liters drums. Now it is going to a place where they do not have any unloading facility. What they do, they put a truck tire below the hold of a truck, roll the drum and throw it on that, or roll it on a plank or something like this. But then when you are throwing it on a tire, when it bounces and jumps and falls on a floor, then the chances of bungs opening, damages are unavoidable. So the instructions should be clear. It should be written on the three sides of the packaging. Unitizing and palletizing will help. So you are not individually handling any packages, but there is the pallet of say 30, 25, 40 cartons considering the size of carton on a pallet. So the entire pallet is again shrink wrapped and then it can be lifted, shifted as a unit. So the handling of individual package is minimized in the process. Insist on prompt pickup and delivery. Yes, anything lying unnecessarily in the storage along with some other cargo and somebody is trying to put some heavy cargo on top of pallets, your cargo, and that can lead to the damages, that can lead to losses. So there are various precautions against handling and stowage damages indicated. So insufficient or unsuitable packaging, marine insurer register claim arising out of insufficient or unsuitable packaging. So the selection of packaging, designing of packaging has to be proper. It should not exceed capacity of the box, bag or cart. So there is a burst strength of this. Then the loading capacity, the stack capacity, everything has to be checked. Consider how this will be handled, lifted in container or in a ship. Unitize, palletize or assemble goods. It is to largest practical unit consistent with handling weight and dimensions is required. So you have to consider the unitizing which can be lifted, shifted. You should try to find out at destination what facilities they have. Suppose if they don't have facility of lifting a pallet in one unit, there will be attempts to depalletize cargo of and unloading it. So all these things has to be seen at the time of when you decide a order execution. So what is objective of goods storage? It is optimum use of cargo space, the damage prevention to cargo, prompt and ready unloading with easiest thing. So the stuffing in container or loading etc. in such a way that the weight distribution is there. There are no sharp objects. The precaution from condensation is also taken. The layout of cargo has to be given a due allowance to bottom storage and avoidance of space wastage considering the size of cartons. Now your size of carton should be such, there are pallets standardized European standards. We should have the pallets in such a way that once two pallets are loaded in the truck or a container, there should not be a lot of gap. If at all there is a gap, it is to be properly supported by dunnage bags or dunnaging, and then it should avoid the movement of that pallets and packages. Even distribution of weight of cargo. Because if it is not even distribution, there will be unnecessarily undue stress on the vehicle or container, and it can lead to certain rollover problems or certain problems. So bulk cargo, uh, even distribution, even in bulk cargo, that is about the shipments. The loading by draft marks, you see the per hold capacity, and it is to be distributed in such a way. So there is a even distribution of the cargo. For bulk cargo, there are a lot of precautions to be taken to avoid liquefaction, spontaneous combustion, evaporation, clingage, and sort of inherent losses attributable to inherent nature of the cargo. So proper placement of cargo, you should be giving instructions to the vessel owner that this is a heat susceptible damage and it must be stored away from engine room. Or if there has to be a cofferdam in between a cargo hold and engine room, it is a void compartment. So there will not be transfer of heat easily. Storage plan, enables the master of the vessel to understand location of various types of cargo, where it is stored. Of course, the vessel owner, the vessel master, and the chief officer, the cargo mate, takes care of loading of cargo in a proper way, lashing of cargo, dunnaging of cargo. If it is a say break bulk vessel, they have the cargo securing manual. For containers also, they do have cargo, the container securing manuals, etc. They have proper hardware for securing uh, things. So this is very important that even it is not only the ship owner and the carriers also take due care in the carriage of cargo, in securing of cargo, whenever it is their prerogative. Damages to the cargo. This could be because of rainwater ingress in the vehicle or in a container which is having breach in integrity. The humidity losses which is leading to condensation. Maybe there is a seawater damage if the tank top of the vessel is having water ingress or some problem in the vessel. It can have the seawater ingress. It can reduce cargo into a ruin or soggy, stained, mildewed, rusty, or delabeled merchandise. The water damage, yes, the cargo surveyors, they try to check by silver nitrate test whether it is a seawater damage or a freshwater damage. Condensation damage are also, it is very easy to find out in containers. So apply preservatives, corrosion inhibitors or waterproof wrapping and provide desiccants. Desiccants is the moisture absorbent, silica gel, etc. There are a couple of other types of also desiccants provided. But considering the number of days journey, if it is like this, they say no, we had 30 desiccant bags already placed in the container. But that 30 bags are designed for 20 days. So you have to find out what is going to be a journey, give sufficient factor of safety for delays, etc. There was somebody was trying to tell me there's a consignment of chili, red chilies. They were delayed whatsoever reason for 20-25 days. All desiccant bags were saturated with moisture and the entire consignment was rejected because of waterlogging or the condensation damages. Because these commodities, they do have their own moisture. So there is a moisture, inherent moisture in them. So there is a cargo rinse or the cargo condensation, the packaging condensation because of if the wooden pallets are not seasoned wood, and there is a container condensation. So these are things can be avoided with a proper precaution. There is a methods of stuffing, providing lining, and then the ventilators taping, desiccant bags. There are a couple of precautions to be taken. The protection from top and sides. The maximum possible problem is from the top and from the sides when the condensation is there. So it has to be taken care by craft paper lining, and there are a couple of things we can take it. Provide adequate skids, pallets or dunnage to keep cargo above collecting drainage. So you have to see to it that the drainage, the cargo is it's not very close to the drainage or the rainwater drainage, etc. And then the leakage is avoidable. The all these things, So adequate skids that it is not sitting on the ground. So during certain floods or certain leakage, they will be susceptible to damages. So certain precautions in storage has to be maintained. You see, there is a multimodal transport concept. The container will go on sea, container will go on roads. So there are development of various types of container. The container is for a overdimensional cargo, flat track, or it could be a liquid bulk tank container. It could be a dry bulk container. It could be a flexi-tack container. It could be a refrigerated container. It could be a totally 20 feet or 40 feet box container. So there are different types of container for containerized cargo. So there has to be a proper selection of the container considering the nature of the cargo. There is a general feeling people are trying to compare that containerized cargo and all cargo, which is non-containerized cargo. But you try to see the damages. That pink color is for all cargo, red color graph, which is for containerized cargo. Condensation damages are more in all cargo. The temperature related damages are more in containerized cargo. The infestation damages are less in container, whereas it is more in all cargo. Sinking is more in containers. The loss of containers are much more than sinking of the vessels. The loss overboard, falling overboard, it is more in containers, less in all cargo. Physical damages are more in containerized, less in percentage. You can work it out. I'm not talking of the percentage, all cargo. Then the shortage claim is more or less same in both. The theft is more in containerized cargo because it is difficult to find out. At the destination only you will come to know that there are problems. So shortage claims, theft claims are more in containerized cargo. The weight damages are more in all cargo and less in containerized cargo. So you try to compare, when somebody will say that no, containers are the best. No, it is not like that. There are pros and cons for both. So you should understand there are various reasons for containerized cargo getting damaged. It is a lack of export packaging. Packaging is not good. It's a project cargo. It is not packed properly. It is only a flimsy one-time packaging. It is increased use of weak retail packaging. Inadequate ventilation provided. The wrong choice of container. It is poor condition of container. The containers are not checked properly. There are breaches, there are cracks, there are minor micro holes. The water can gain entry during heavy rains. So lack of effective container interchange and inspection. The ineffective sealing arrangements. The seals can be tampered, seals can be duplicated, seals can be opened without serious problem. So there is a very skillful pilferage from container is possible. The lack of clear carriage instructions. There is no instruction for properly given. Ineffective internal cleaning. The internal cleaning also can lead to the problems. The contaminated floors, tented floors. There could be insects, there could be fungus, there could be certain damages attributed to contaminated floors. The wrong temperature setting in refrigerated containers. You are telling something and something else is fixed. Then there are condensation damages because of variation in temperature. The container overloading is slightly difficult, but then the container with load is kept on a trailer. The trailer is overloaded. People are disregarding the weight of container. This mistake many people are doing. They check the weight of cargo, but they don't check the weight of container when I am selecting a trailer. So these mistakes, many people do it, or maybe they are knowing and they are trying to save freight. The concept of reinsurance. I was in Indian Navy taking training. Maybe in 68 or 69, the base commander of INS Angre, he was Commander Mahendranath Mulla. He became captain in 71 war. He was a captain of Kukri, and then he refused to abandon when the Kukri was torpedoed. So I know Commander Mahendranath Mulla. He was our base commander. Came to our school where I was taking training, and he said, I came to know the trainees are playing matka. Matka is one type of gambling. We are putting money on numbers, and then if that number is taken out, you get the some 9 times or some money. So he said it is, if you want to earn out of a gambling, you be a bookie. The punter never wins. It has embedded in my mind in such a way, I stopped playing cards also after that. So let us see how the things are going. There is a small bookie everywhere, He accepts bets. He makes payment all by himself. All you need to start off as a bookie is the ability to pay to the winners on the numbers. Once the amount exceeds your capacity, you turn the bet over to say for example 0 to 9 or 1 to 9, whatever numbers are there. Then when I feel that the maximum booking is on one particular number only, and if that number comes out, I'll have to shell out a lot of money, then that bookie puts the amount to same number to the higher ups and higher ups and higher ups. End of day, the person who is taking out numbers, he is aware that which is having the maximum booking on a number, that number is never taken out. Okay. So more or less at the top of heap sits one man. Let's take the IPL final as an example. He knows how much amount is riding on Mumbai and how much on Chennai. he knows kaunsa palda bhari hai. He realizes that if Chennai wins, then he has to pay out more. If Mumbai wins, he has to pay less. He will make sure Mumbai wins. This is the story what I have heard. If you ask me to prove it, it is very difficult. But this is the grapevine, or this is the percolated things. Maybe there are a couple of cricket players, they were caught in the... So, the reinsurance, it is going on the principle, something like this, that whatever I insure it, it is reinsured to minimize my losses. So what is reinsurance? In simple terms, reinsurance is an insurance for insurance companies. It is a means by which an insurance company can protect itself from the risk. The company who requests for the cover is called the cedent and the reinsurer is called the ceded. Okay, so these are the words, why I am underlined it, because these in examination on a multiple choice question, they may have these questions. So why reinsurance? Risk transfer, greater individual risk than its size. We are transferring it. It's a concentrated risk, for example, satellites or such type of things. So it is the offer higher limits of protection to the policy holder. The income smoothing. It is absorbing larger losses, catastrophic losses, larger losses. Because of reinsurance, it will give the cushioning. Surplus relief. The solvency margin is maintained. It helps to maintain solvency margin. Arbitrage. Price differential between two or more markets. The reinsurance expertise is required. Manageable and profitable portfolio has to be checked. Managing cost of capital has to be checked. And capital in terms of reinsurance. So these are there are many benefits to the insurance company by, again, reinsuring the cargo. So if at all there is a heavy damages, it is taken, your losses are minimized. I have seen in Africa, one of the country, it was 100% they were reinsuring it. And the reinsurers, they used to give him 15% what you call brokerage or something like that. So they were managing the entire show with the brokerage, and whatever losses are there, they used to get it from the reinsurance. These are the concepts. There are a lot of things. This is not a subject on totality on reinsurance. We are just touching upon the basic principles of reinsurance. How reinsurance works. So the green marked is, say, it is middle persons, and red is risk takers. So insurance policy holders, the brokers, they approach the insurance companies, maybe through agents also possible. The insurance companies will accept the risk, and then considering the risk, heavy risk, it will be reinsurance, and then there are reinsurance intermediaries, or there are broker, they are also acting as a reinsurance broker. So then it is reinsured with the reinsurance companies. In India, G.S.A is there, and a couple of reinsurance companies are there, which we should know. So in general, there are only two types of reinsurance. One is facultative. It is something like specific. If you have a problem, you go to the reinsurer. And one is a treaty. It is something like a policy which whatever you are telling to, it is a treaty with the reinsurance companies, and whatever you are trying to put it as a reinsurance, it is accepted. Each type of reinsurance can be structured in one of the following two ways. It is proportional and it is non-proportional. So these are the methods of reinsurance acceptance. And try to understand about the facultative reinsurance. So facultative reinsurance applies to an individual risk. That is one commercial fire policy, or even only one location, or whenever it is spillover over the treaty and I am trying to search a reinsurer, so it will be placed in facultative reinsurance. The insurer and reinsurer agree to the reinsurance terms of an individual agreement. This is not like open policy, it is not like open cover, it is not like self-turnover policy where terms and conditions are agreed upon, but more or less this can be compared as a specific voyage. So every voyage which I am placing with the reinsurer, the terms and conditions will be agreed upon. It is generally used to reinsurance, of course, the extra hazardous or unusual risk which might be excluded from treaty insurance agreements. There is every possibility that certain extra hazardous material, certain unusual risk, the insurance company, the reinsurance company may not accept that in the treaty. And then it is going for a facultative reinsurance. High valued risk with policy limits exceeding maximum treaty parameters. So these are the parameters which has to be checked. Treaty reinsurance. So this treaty reinsurance applies to insurance company entire book of business. Some of these include all commercial fire policies, all automobile policies, all worker compensation policies, all homeowners policies, or more generally, any combination of the above. So this is the treaty. Already I have agreement with the reinsurer. Treaty reinsurance is the one in which both pro rata and excess of loss forms are used. So proportional reinsurance. What is proportional? One or more reinsurers takes a stated percent share of each policy that an insurer produces. 50%, 20%, 30%, something like that. The reinsurance will receive the stated percentage of each dollar of premium and will pay that percentage of each dollar of losses. So this is in the terms of percentage. Example, surplus share. Reinsurer assumes pro rata responsibility for only that portion of any risk which exceeds the company's established retentions level. Okay, so that is known as a surplus share. The reinsurer assumes the pro rata responsibility for only that portion of any risk which exceeds the company's established retention level. There is a non-proportional reinsurance. This reinsurance responds when the loss suffered by the insurer exceeds a certain amount. Okay. Example, the insurer is prepared to accept a loss of $1 million for any loss which may occur, and they purchase a layer of reinsurance of 4 million in excess of $1 million. If a loss of $3 million occurs, then the insurer will retain 1 million and will recover 2 million from the reinsurers. If in this example, the reinsured will retain any loss exceeding in this above $5 million unless they have purchased a further excess layer. Second layer offset 10, again 10 million excess of 5 million. So it is something like that. It is a non-proportional reinsurance. They will definitely ask question on retrocession. So reinsurance, the reinsurance companies, the reinsurance seller is retrocessionaries. The reinsurance buyer is a retrocedent. So these are the terminology. Definitely there would be one question on this this particular reinsurance. So ways of reinsurance is a pooled reinsurance. There is a reciprocity reinsurance, subsidized reinsurance. So there are many. So there are a couple of reinsurance companies prominently known. Is G.S.A. It is a compulsory reinsurance initially with the G.S.A. Then there is a Munich, then there is a Swiss Re, then there is a Hanover Re. There are a couple of reinsurance companies. The person who is taking care of reinsurance department must be having the list of the reinsurance and the conditions of treaty and facultative insurance. So General Insurance Corporation, G.S.A. is the sole domestic reinsurance company of India. The G.S.A. is having AAA plus rating. This was incorporated, GIC was incorporated on 22nd November 1972. The subsidiaries companies of GIC were National Insurance Company, New India, Oriental, United. Okay. GIC Asset Management to manage GIC Mutual Funds, GIC Housing Finance, and GIC Export Credit Guarantee Corporation. The business of GIC, the domestic reinsurance business, 73% of the revenues, GIC plus Hanover deal with 60/40 life insurance. International reinsurance business is 27% of the revenues. Investment and fund management is also part of business of GIC. What are the reinsurance regulation of India? 20% of each policy with reinsurance company. It is an intercompany cessation between 4 public sector companies. First GIC and then international companies. Insurance company to inform before 45 days. Not more than 10% of reinsurance premium to be placed with one reinsurer. No reinsurer will have rating of less than BBB from standard and poor. So there are many challenges for reinsurance industry in the Indian market. The covers are not available for liability, professional indemnities, financial risk, oil and energy, etc. Even vessels coming from Iran were having problem for reinsurance. Of course, that was sorted out by the government of India. The international companies don't quote for small ticket deals. They want bigger, not smaller one. Premium rates are costlier as foreign competitors quote more. Desirable quotes from the Indian market are not available with the promptitude. The different dates of finalization of accounts globally. The reinsurance cover for terrorist attacks is still a debate. You see, it is like this. When our premium rating is coming down to very low rates, naturally when you are going for reinsurance and if their rates are higher, they are asking for the higher premium, etc. Definitely it is not economical for anybody. So earlier there were no issues with the reinsurance, but with the reduction in premium, it becomes difficult to get reinsurance. Many times the consignor, the exporter or importer, he is arranging the reinsurer for their particular products. But then these are the challenges because the rates. So cargo reinsurance, marine you can say like open covers. Underwriters automatically accepts from the assured all his shipments coming with the scope of the open cover up to an agreed amount per vessel conveyance. So there is a per sending limit, there is per bottom limit, there is per location limit, and there is a overall, say for example, the overall the turnover or the amount insured is 10,000 crore rupees or something like this. How treaty of reinsurance arrangements? It is not possible for an underwriter with a general cargo account to protect himself against the unduly heavy commitments of any particular vessel by means of facultative reinsurance alone. It is very difficult because if the one vessel is having concentrated cargo on that, or one vessel is costing say more than 700 crore. There was a vessel which came with 100 crore rupees, and then there were damages in that. So naturally, the damages are then phenomenal when such type of thing is happening. So there is a quota share arrangements and non-proportional reinsurance. So in quota share may be resorted to specially when there is a need to create reciprocal treaties. This is a non-proportional, it is an excess of loss treaty under which the ceding company bears all claims arising out of due to one disaster or occurrences up to a specified amount only. So there are various ways and methods. Reinsurance is a subject in itself. It is not only few slides of few chapter. To have the understanding, maybe when you are appearing for examination, you should be taking reinsurance as one of the subject, the cargo risk management as one of the subject. So that will give you the better and in-depth knowledge of the reinsurance. Every person is not in reinsurance department, so many people, they don't look at this as a the requirement from the company side. Hull and machinery, it is also reinsured because it's a the larger the vessel, the cost of vessel is much more. So underwriters have greater control as each vessel in a fleet is evaluated separately and not under open cover. So you will have condition and valuation report of every vessel. So somebody is having a fleet of 100 vessels, the valuation of each vessel is carried out and it is available for the purpose of insurance and of course for the purpose of reinsurance. They are in line with, in a way, they are in line with international market and costing of the hull and machinery. So demand for reinsurance on facultative basis is confirmed mainly for limited conditions, usually to total loss only. So, yeah, it is not a treaty, it is a facultative. I'm just going for one particular vessel. Then they will say we will reinsure not for the comprehensive cover, not for the particular average, but we will restrict only to the total loss of that particular vessel. So these are various conditions for the reinsurance when it comes to hull and machinery. Maritime frauds. I have come across a couple of maritime fraud where vessels was scuttled and then the vessels run away with the cargo. There are various methods of maritime fraud, documentary frauds. I have come across. So, what is the definition of maritime fraud? Occurs when one of the parties involved in an international trade transaction, like the buyer. How many people? Many people are there in that in trade. Buyer, sailor, ship owner, charterer, ship's master, crew, insurer, banker, broker, agent, surveyors. They illegally secures money or goods from another party to whom, on the face of it, he has undertaken specific trade, transport, and financial obligations. Development, earlier maritime fraud was only at the parochial level, but currently it has come to the international level. Asia and the Indian subcontinent are the worst affected of these maritime frauds. You see, theft and pilferage from the docks. Even the customs should be involved, the police should be involved, clearing agent is involved, maybe concerned the transporter is involved. There is every possibility the attending, the loss superintendent, loss surveyors, those who are carrying out cargo unloading and delivery supervision, the people from the surveyor from these companies are also probably involved in the theft and pilferage from the ports and docks, etc. These are all part of maritime frauds. There are two organizations they are combating with the fraud. ICC, International Maritime Bureau. The other is Far East Regional Investigation Team, known as a FERIT. The FERIT is of Salvage Association and it is International Chamber of Commerce. They have the IMB, International Maritime Bureau. They are the apex bodies in the international world to combat with the maritime fraud. I suggest to the participant that the best is ICC IMB. If you come across any maritime fraud, you want further investigation, the best is to contact ICC IMB. There are various types of maritime frauds. It starts with the documentary frauds. The fake documents are created and there is no actual transaction of cargo. Scuttling of vessels. The scuttling means making deliberate hole on the vessel. The side round holes or on the olden ships, not non-air conditioned warships, we used to call them side scuttles. So they are for the ventilation. Then there are deadlight, that means no light will come. Then there are glass round closer for the air will not come, but the light will come. So they were known as the side scuttles. That's a round shaped window, you can say, on a vessel with three facilities: totally open, open for light, and totally closed for the air, light, everything. These are the deliberate, you put the explosive or open the sea walls and start taking water inside, and water the vessel sinks. The phantom ship is also known as a paintbrush piracy, and this phantom ship takes the cargo, changes his identity and runs away. Then there is a piracy. Of course, there are certain places the pirates are boarding vessel and they are trying to take ransom. They are not interested in cargo. What they will do in Somalia with the cargo? If it is, say, the PVC or something like that, or a PTA, what they will do with this cargo in there? Crude oil. What they will do with the crude oil? Yeah, if it is edible oil, I can understand they are interested. They will take the edible oil and sell it. But then the best is take the ransom and leave the vessel. Cargo thefts on highways, cargo thefts on ports, cargo thefts from port to CFS by drivers. So these are also part of maritime fraud. In connected with the charterers, charterers is taking booking and then runs away. He takes partly payment and the vessel owner has to complete. They are not all, but then try to understand if at all there is a maritime fraud, 90% of the cases claim will be lodged with the insurance company. There are a couple of maritime frauds like bunkering fraud, the false or wrong flow meter readings, the water mixed, port related frauds, the blackmail frauds, blackmail to the owner of the vessel, the cyber related frauds, fake job advertisements, information phishing. These are not directly connected with the insurance companies, but these are the frauds where the maritime, this is a part of maritime fraud, and then the vessel owners or the people are suffering from these type of maritime frauds. The documentary frauds, the bill of lading is issued, but cargo is not loaded on board. It is a fake bill of lading. He will also stamp it with shipped on board, etc. The vessel is planned for scuttling. Now, in such cases, what you have to see that whether goods were carted, whether so much of goods are available in that particular country, or is there any loading supervision? Anybody has seen this? The port documents are there to prove that yes, cargo was lying and cargo was loaded in this particular vessel. So you have to see many things. Many times what they will do, they may load it at anchorage. They will show loading at anchorage. There are various methods to show that one. But with the latest scenario, the tracking of vessel, things have become less. But then this is one possibility that there could be a fake documents. The advance bills of lading and shutout of cargo. So bills of lading is basically in advance it is prepared, and then I do not have capacity whatsoever reason, because I want to take more diesel, I want to take more fresh water with the next port, and I cannot take so much of cargo. So even after issuing advance bills of lading, which is considered as a fraud, the cargo will not be loaded on board. It is a shutout. But having issued the bill of lading, there will be a short landing certificate issued at destination, and there would be a claim lodged with the insurance company. Wrong or bogus loss overboard certificate issued. I was investigating one of the LOB case at Jamnagar, and I came to know various big corporate names are there. I came to know from one of the stevedore in Jamnagar who was known to me, and he said that vessel agents in Jamnagar, they are discussing with the exporters from India, and if they are telling that if you load cargo on my vessel, I will give you 500 bags or 1000 bags loss overboard certificate free. Now you just try to understand. This is also a bogus, it is also a maritime fraud. With inside information, fake BL is submitted to clear cargo promptly. So I know what is the thing, and somebody from shipping company is involved, and then the fake BL is submitted to clear cargo. The cargo sold ex-jetties on fake documents. The fake documents are created, submitted, and before actual cargo interest arrives, the cargo is cleared from there. Cross deliveries, taking a cargo with higher weight. So these are all petty pilferage from the port. So deliberate overstatement of cargo ladder. This is also, and then naturally it will be short unloaded. It will be claimed for the shortage. The Trojan container, that is the container is having a spurious cargo. I have loaded something else and something else comes out of it. Stones are there. I have put yarn in that, but there are stones coming out. I have put the pharmaceutical intermediates, and then there is a maize powder which I found, maize flour, what I found with the consignment. So it is a misdescription of the cargo ladder. That is also part of maritime fraud. So, for example, for the sandalwood thefts and pilferage, invariably somebody from Dubai market or somebody from the some particular port, they will book a order for insignificant value items. Say for example, for the poultry farm, the water pots, plastic one, and for 4-5 lakhs rupees he will give a order, he will pay in advance. He will say that I will send container to your premises, and then everybody is rigged in the process. And then when the container comes out, the sandalwood is loaded somewhere, the original consignment, either it is sold or maybe the seller is also involved in such type of fraud that he in fact is not loading. He comes and then he is showing that as if, or he is creating the photographic evidence, and he can also put up a claim with the insurance company for theft and pilferage. But then sandalwood, which is export, this is having this type of modus operandi. How this side scuttle looks. You know, they have not shown the deadlight, but then it is in 3 parts. There is one deadlight, so it covers everything. So what is the features of scuttling? If at all you come across, or if you suspect that there is a scuttling of vessel, then you should see that vessel should be 15 years or older. It is a single owner or singleton. It is a small size. VLCC, ULCC, Panamax, Aframax, nobody is going to scuttle. Shipping Corporation, Maersk Line, Nippon Lines, nobody is going to scuttle. American person, no. Singleton, single owner, small size, 7,000 to 10,000 gross tonnage. Registered in tax haven countries. It is not registered with the self-owned country. Somewhere else. Naturally, it will have flag of convenience. And yes, Asian origin crew. 99% Americans or the Britishers, they are not involved. Their crews are not involved in this type of. But then you will find majority in such things either from Philippines or the Indians, the Pakistani, from Bangladesh, Sri Lankans. These crews are normally found. This is what the pundits in the maritime fraud they say. The next is phantom ship or truck. It is also a paintbrush piracy, what they call it. The vessel is again that features are there. It is singleton, single owner, etc. But then this is the organized gang those are operating. The vessel is operating on a fake certificates. The cargo is loaded and vessel never reaches her designated destination. She runs away. Earlier in 83 clauses, such type of losses were not covered under the policy. But in 2009 clauses, institute cargo clauses, there is a special thing that if there is no privities of this consignee to this, then it is paid, it is covered under the policy. So now earlier there was very strictly they were repudiated. Now as a piracy claims are not repudiated as per ICC 2009 clauses. The vessel cannot be traced as identity is immediately changed. The name is changed. There are many sister ships, operating. So it look like the other one, but then the ownership is changed, the documents are changed. So this is all organized gangs they are operating. And the cargo is 99% sold in warlord countries. Earlier, a lot of cargo claims were there, but then Sri Lanka, where the Tamil Tigers were operating, that was the place. I was told that their leader, Mr. Prabhakaran from London, was involved in this type of thing. It is every possibility when there is a leadership is military. The military dictator would be interested to unload cargo, sell it, get the money and put it in Switzerland bank. Because he is aware that one day he has to run away and he should have a lot of money by any type of source, if it is he can make money, it is welcome by him. The International Chamber of Commerce, International Maritime Bureau, they have the publication of weekly piracy report. Very exhaustive report. Not only piracy, but even smaller thefts in small ports. What is happening at Tuticorin in Sri Lanka, Mumbai port, everything is discussed in the piracy report of ICC-IMB. The pirates are again classified into low-life pirates. The low-life pirates are, they want a wristwatch, but they will cut my hand. They want money from my pockets, they will kill me. So there are low-life pirates. Then there are sophisticated organized gangs. Then the warlords are involved in piracy. Warlords, as I said, that military dictators. So they are involved. Some vessel is going, okay, loot it, and then unload it in such a way, uh, carry ammunition. There are many methods that warlords are involved in these maritime frauds. Now there is a ICC-IMB is having installation of C-Jack alarms on the ship. They have excellent contacts with the Coast Guard and governments. And then if at all there is a piracy, if somebody is boarding, and when this C-Jack alarm, it is placed at multiple places on ship, when it is placed, the nearby Coast Guard will also, the ICC-IMB London office is manned for 24 hours. They will definitely take cognizance of alarm, and then they will ask nearby countries to try to intercept and try to save the venture. So this is about the places prominent. Somalia, it is a failed state that clearly is unable to react. The Gulf of Aden, a shipping choke point bound by failed state Somalia and a notorious haven of terrorist Aden. The historical lessons would suggest that this situation is disastrous for shipping events proving so. Why the Middle East is important? Because oil and there is no choice. So that is the point, where vessels are moving in that area. There is a chance of any. Of course, Malacca Strait is also there. At Nigeria, it is also there. You can see there are various places, somewhere near Nigeria, in Indian Ocean from Gulf of Aden, uh, the Malacca Strait, Middle East. Even near Nigeria, there are way of this thing. So these are the piracy. There are certain precautions to be taken by insurance companies, vessel owner, and consigner. If you feel that it is a doubtful thing, our warships, our war ladies are placed in these areas to escort our vessels. All nations that said Pakistan, Royal Navy, French Navy, warships are placed for supporting. So who can take precaution? Exporter and importer. Everything available at less price may yield to the uh, losses in future. Okay, in Hindi there is one proverb that sasta roye bar bar, महंगा roye ek bar. Embassy and Chamber of Commerce, the freight forwarders, they are aware of it. How many war are involved, what is happening in the port, etc. The banks can take precaution, the insurance companies can take precaution, vessel owner and charters can take precautions, port authority can take precautions to minimize theft, pilferage, and losses by maritime frauds. In the process of adjustment, call full set of documents, request inspection and survey, arrange cargo supervision and supercargo. What is supercargo? The person will go along with the vessel. Okay, but then if the gangster is involved, his life is at stake. Obtain status report of the consigner, consignee, the vessel owner, etc. Singleton avoid it. When you have very precious cargo going, it should go with a proper vessel owners only. Obtain status report. Performance bond from the banks. Vessel should have capacity to carry cargo, that particular type of cargo. So there are certain precautions which can be taken. So this is the end of chapter number 12. Thank you very much. What we have seen is the loss control, prevention of cargo losses. We have seen the reinsurance of marine risk. We have seen the different type of maritime fraud. And this is the end of my lecture, my session. If you have any doubts about any of the chapter, any of the problems, you can always contact me at my phone number. Phone number you will have to find it out. I am not giving here because you will have to find out. Contact any say Mumbai, MCTD, HO or Cargo Underwriters, College of Insurance, National Insurance Academy. You will definitely get my telephone numbers. Thank you very much. All the best for the examination and all the best in Marine Department. Thank you very much.